Oh, hello there. It's Mike Singer, blueandgold.com, live on the Blue and Gold YouTube channel. It's a Tuesday. It's October 1st. It's a bye week for your Fighting Irish. And yes, there's no Tim Hyde tonight. I'm sure as this live show goes on, I'm going to have to repeat myself. So those who are in the live chat with us right now, you can tell the people what happened. And I'll probably have to remind everyone a couple times. But Tim Hyde, I was talking to Tim on Sunday, and I said, Tim, I got a scratch on my neck. What is? Looks tough. I talked to Tim, and I said, hey, I have an idea for you. Why don't you see if you want your Tuesday night back to yourself? Because God knows how many weeks in a row Tim's done a live show. It's like, why don't you see if you want to just spend the Tuesday with your family? And Tim said, no, if you're doing a show, I'm doing a show. Because I was like, I can just do a solo call-in show. We've been doing these the past few games, late nights. And he said, no, if you're going to do one, I'll do one with you. I just said, Tim, why don't you ask your wife what she thinks? And he said, okay. He texted me the next day and he says, yeah, I'm going to spend Tuesday with the family. Smart man, Tim Hyde. If you're watching this, you are a smart man. So we are doing a call-in show. Again, we've done a few of these the past few weeks. I'm talking like 11:30 p.m. Eastern time starts. And they've gone pretty well. So we're doing it again, but in a prime time slot, which might be bold to do. But that's what we're doing. So there it is. The number to call in and the access code. It's right here. Here's your number to call in. And then this access code, make sure you put in this little, I would call that a pound key. But nowadays, do you call it a hashtag? If you're listening via podcast, I'm not 100% sure this is going to end up on podcast. We'll have to see how it goes. But if you are listening via podcast, it's made it to you. Leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to your podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, whether you're watching back or watching live, whatever the case may be, hit the thumbs up on this video and subscribe to the Blue and Gold YouTube channel for more content. We rolled out a lot of good stuff today. Should have done that before the show, but here we are. Had a couple of good videos published today, and we will have more tomorrow and throughout the week. So definitely lock into the Blue and Gold YouTube channel. I do want to make everyone aware of one thing for those watching live, watching back. This is my pinned tweet. So if you go to my Twitter, at Mike T. Singer, click the link in this tweet. Sign up for the Blue and Gold newsletter. Okay, get the latest Notre Dame Fighting Irish news directly in your inbox daily. So Monday through Friday, we send it out. It's just a bunch of links of stories that we've been doing at Blue and Gold. And then whenever there's breaking news, like the commitment that Notre Dame had today, Antavius Richardson flipping from my alma mater. Never thought I would cover a recruitment where USF had a prospect flip to Notre Dame. But here we are. If you were on our email newsletter alert, you would have gotten an email right away. So you need to be checking Twitter all the time. If you want breaking news sent to you, sign up for our email alerts. Again, it's my pinned tweet. So if you go to my Twitter, it's right here. It's just right there. Okay. So got a couple callers in, and I'm going to try to go in order as much as possible. This number is outside. Sorry. I haven't heard that yet. So maybe when some people say that people are having problems calling in, maybe it's because it's outside the plane, which is interesting. I know it's like the 605 is like a South Dakota line or something. Guys, it's just the number that was given to me for this programming is. But we'll go to our first question, and it is a returning caller. It is Lotus. We got Lotus in the chat. What's up, Lotus? Good, man. What's going on? Jalen Sneed? What about Jalen Sneed? Hold on, Lotus. Give me a second. Little technical difficulties. Boom. Let me not dox you. Hold on. Boom. Yeah. Let's go. Boom. Okay. All right. We should be cooking now. Go ahead, Lotus.
Okay. Well, apparently he walked off the field instead of going and singing with the rest of the team, and he only had played 12 snaps, and apparently he was pretty upset about it.
No idea, Lotus. No idea for you, brother.
I'm a disappointed singer.
Sorry, brother. You got anything else?
Going to the Florida State game.
Nice.
Suggestions on anything to do?
Suggestions on what? Well, what? When do you get in?
They had the crap here.
When do you get in?
Probably Thursday.
Thursday, and then you head out Sunday?
Yeah.
What to do? I mean, are you like, is this one of your like first times going to Notre Dame, or are you like you've been going all your life?
I go every year. I just know if you had anything fun to suggest.
Evil Check is probably my favorite place to get food and drink. Highly recommend Evil Check. What's the other one on the?
Fan.
What's that?
I'm a big Bonnie Doon fan. It's like a burger ice cream place there.
Love that. Yeah, you can go to Taco Bell.
Who wouldn't, right?
Sorry, Lotus. Say that again, brother.
Let me ask you this: do you actually eat that cheesy roll up, or who actually eats that?
4-year-olds. 4-year-olds. So one of my friends, their 4-year-old kid, that she asks for cheesy roll-ups all the time. So cheesy roll-ups is for 4-year-olds.
Okay, I was wondering if anybody actually ate that.
Yeah. There you go.
All right, Evil Check. I'll put it on the list.
Evil Check. There's the brewery on the water. I always forget the name of it, but that's a really cool vibe. Augie's locker room. Say again, brother.
Any update on Madden Fremo's trip?
Haven't connected with him directly. Had an article about him at blueandgold.com. And I will have a YouTube video tomorrow on Wednesday about him. But the gist is Notre Dame leads, but it's not over yet. That's the gist on Madden. Notre Dame leads, but no decision yet from the elite linebacker from SoCal.
All right, last one, and I'll let you get on with the show. Deuce Knight one still up in the air, or is that
still up in the air, brother? It is. One day, like literally, it's been a roller coaster just today. Started the morning great, dipped a little bit the afternoon. Now it's feeling better. I don't know, man. It's a little crazy out in these streets, Lotus.
Okay, tell me last thing, and actually, I'll shut up after this.
Oh, I'm muting you after this, so that's like. What, Lotus?
What's up with Goolsby going after our strength and conditioning coach?
Why are you asking me, Lotus? You go ask him.
You're the one who hosts the show with them.
Lotus, I don't really like your vibes tonight. I liked you a lot better last time you called in.
Fair point. I'm like the guys are getting rolled up on, and Goolsby's mad at our coach for it.
Lotus, thanks for calling in. Hell of a first caller. I thought Lotus was great last time he called in. All right, we are going to 504 next, man. What's your name? And you calling from the Louisville area?
No. Wait, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's going on? What's your name?
Oh, hey, this is Arrow fan, Mike.
Arrow fan?
Yeah.
What's up, dude?
Not much. You sick of me already?
No, man. What's on your mind? I just, I don't expect to hear names that I'm very familiar with. So what's going on, buddy?
Okay. So, what, you kind of like you often write in your like end of year articles that like, the staff is like really fired up, but like, it really feels like with 2024, there kind of was a lot of belief that this freshman class was going to be really good. And even already, like even with CJ Carr and Cam Williams, not like expected to be featured much this year. Like the freshman class and really the sophomore class as well is showing out. So at what point, like, do you feel like then, I guess, do you feel that the staff now has a lot of goodwill in that it doesn't matter what a kid's ranked, if they choose a top 100, if they choose to go with some kid ranked in the 500s committed to Arizona State University over some top 200 kid from Georgia, that they have a good eye for evaluating them? Because like just from a pure blue chip rankings perspective, the 2025 class isn't shaping up to be as good compared to 24 and 23. But but it definitely looks like with 2024, the staff did a freaking amazing job evaluating their players.
Okay. I feel like you kind of answered your own question within the question.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you asked me, do you think they build up good grace? And then you kind of explained why they have. So, yeah. I mean, it's kind of a personal preference. If they have for you or if they have not. I mean, for me, like I've always been under the impression that this Notre Dame staff like tries to uncover the hidden gems. They do a little bit better job of it than Kelly and company. I think that they just go a little bit more for the higher upside, like maybe a little bit more research. Like Kennedy Urlacher was one that I remember talking to a Notre Dame source after he committed, maybe like a month or two after he committed. And we're kind of a discussion about like how the class is perceived. And this person that I was talking to was like shocked that people weren't excited about Kennedy Urlacher. It's like, why? Because he's the lowest ranked player in the class. But, you talk to people, connected to the program, and there was a ton of excitement. And then I wrote, going into the A&M game that week, I don't remember my Gold Standard that week, Era fan, where I was like, Kennedy Urlacher is gonna play this year. He's gonna make an impact. Now, the impact part remains to be seen, but kind of on the right, the right, going in the right direction for him.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Because Bowen played like a lot of special teams like last year. I mean, I don't think he really played much. I don't think he probably played anything meaningful last year. But like now, he's coming into his own pretty quickly as being able to fill in for Bertrand, and all that. So I know that stars do sort of matter, to quote Ari Wasserman, but I mean it also does, like, for all the talk about like, oh, Marcus Freeman is a great recruiter, I actually feel like his staff is a better evaluator than recruiter per se, and I think that's honestly more valuable than being able to get top 100 players.
Yeah. No. I mean, if you're trying to win a national championship, no, you need to land the top. But it's definitely nice for a program like Notre Dame, where you are like, if there's 32 5-stars, some years it might be cut in half right then and there. Like, how many are willing to go to Northeast Indiana, sorry, for school, and or have the grades to get in? Might be cut in half right there. So yeah, Notre Dame geographically and academically right there. It's just a fact that your pool of players gets cut, and then I don't care who's the coach. I've said this before. If our Lord and Savior is the head coach at Notre Dame, I still don't know if he's going to be able to sign, like a number one class overall. He's just not, like, in Notre Dame, you're going to have to take developmental prospects. That's just how it is.
Yeah. I do think at the end of the day, like, you just gotta be able to, like, just win some damn games, and just convince a lot of kids. Like, I think there was a guy last cycle, Nathaniel Marshall. Didn't he end up at Miami or something?
Yeah, he was.
Chicago.
You are on the right track, my friend. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I mean, I think at the end of the day, you got to convince you just you have to. Well, I mean, if you're not going to throw cash the way Miami is at programs, then like you gotta give something else, you know. And I think. Oh no! Wait, no, wait. Isn't Nate Marshall at Auburn? Wait, sorry, I got my cycles mixed. I got it mixed up.
Somewhere
mixed up.
down
Yeah.
south. Yeah,
No.
I stop. Well, oftentimes, if a kid's not coming to Notre Dame, I don't pay it a whole lot of attention. So.
Yeah, but yeah, no, yeah, I think that. Yeah, I think I do think the 12-team playoff is going to be good in a lot of respects because like when you see some of these like ACC or Big 12 schools, if they can go in and then like knock out like Ole Miss or like Georgia or Tennessee or something, then that really helps increase their credibility with recruits. So you know, like it would at least take talent like you know out of the SEC and maybe just help create some parity in the sport. You know, like I mean, like yeah, like Notre Dame probably benefits from it, but like I'm just sick of if it wasn't for the cheating scandal with Michigan and everything, like I would actually be pretty happy that they won the title last year. Like I don't actually like but yeah, like I mean, I'm just sick of like you know the SEC getting everything and all that, like getting all this praise. Like, look, the conference like has the best teams in the nation. But if you look at the middle and the bottom, it's no different than the Big 10 or the Big 12 or the ACC, if we're being honest.
Aerofan, appreciate the call, brother.
All right. Okay. Thanks, man.
Talking about the 12-team playoff, Aerofan, appreciate the call. We have to. This clip, this was amazing. I love Ari Wasserman,
but
he talked about this is everyone wanted this 12-team playoff, right? He just goes on this epic rant. You guys got to watch this.
I do think that it is funny, and if you've seen my Twitter account on Mondays, it happens every Monday. People are freaking out about the teams they see on the bubble watch and Notre Dame and Clemson and all these teams that have lost early. And I do not think that people realize what teams are going to make the playoff this year. And I'm just going to remind you, this is what you wanted. This is what people wanted. You want Notre Dame. You want Clemson. And you know what? If Georgia loses 2 more times this year and wins the national title,
still want them to.
You wanted. That's what you wanted. So stop complaining about bad teams being included in bracketology. Stop complaining about bad teams being included in the bubble watch. The bubble watch graphic that you're looking at right here has teams like Ole Miss who lost, Kansas State who've been blown out, Michigan who can't throw a forward pass, USC who lost to Michigan, Arizona who's been blown out by Kansas State, LSU who's lost to USC, and Iowa State who's undefeated. You want to know why? Because the numbers that you're seeing represented on the first 4 out are 13 to 16 and 17 to 20. Those are the teams that we're talking about now. These are the teams that are going to be included, and it's only going to get worse, guys, because teams are going to keep losing, and they're going to keep being included because we want everybody in the playoff. This is the 12-team system, and deal with it. It drives me nuts. It drives me absolutely nuts that people don't even know what they want. Like, you're mad at me for thinking that the expansion of the 12-team playoff is stupid, that I'm not inclusion. All I care about is big teams, all the things that, I say that make you angry. Okay, that's fine. Then be happy when you see Notre Dame included, because that is what you want. Isn't that what you want?
Look at it. Look at Andy.
Like, am I going nuts? Like, do you think I'm crazy?
Nope. I don't think you're crazy. I think people like to complain.
That is the truth. So that is a clip from Ari Wasserman and Andy Staples of the Andy and Ari show at On 3. And it is interesting when you see the bubble list and stuff and people complain, why is Notre Dame in there? They lost to NIU. Because you can get in if you're Notre Dame and lose to NIU. You just got to win out. It is kind of crazy. Like there are some years you could have like a 3-loss SEC or Big 10 team get in, right? They get hot at the right time. That's kind of the direction this thing is going. We are going to go to 317 next, and then my boy Mark with glasses. You're not going to want to miss that. But before we do that, we're going to hear from our sponsor over at Factor. Folks, sweater weather pairs perfectly with savory fall foods. But with your busy schedule, sometimes it's hard to eat the way you'd like to. I know, when I do these YouTube shows, you see shoulder up and whatnot. And for podcast audience, you're even luckier. But listen, I might have a sweet tooth and I might like to eat a little bit too much Taco Bell. Which is where you got to get on Factor. Their chefs do the shopping and the chopping to bring you fresh, never frozen, fully cooked meals right to your doorstep. All you have to do is heat and eat. You could do microwave. You could put it in the oven. I love their smoothies. Fantastic. All their meals are dietitian approved, so you know you're getting the nutrition you need along with all the fall flavors you crave. When it comes to meals, everyone wants the same thing, options. That's why Factor offers 35 wholesome meals every week, including Gourmet Plus, Keto, Calorie Smart, Vegan, Veggie, so you'll always find something that suits your lifestyle. There's more to Factor than just lunch and dinners. As I just talked about, they have easy breakfasts, smoothies to delectable midnight snacks. Factor has over 60 add-ons to keep you fueled and focused 24/7 with a plethora of flavors. You'll never get bored. This fall, you have a lot going on outside the kitchen. Keep your plans and turn to Factor. I know for me, with the baby coming any day now, Factor is going to be clutch. Don't have to think about shopping. Don't have to think about cooking. You just heat, and that's it. Whether you're managing calories, maximizing your protein intake, or simply trying to eat a more balanced meal, Factor has dietitian-approved meals that will help you meet your wellness goals. Head to factormeals.com, folks. Factormeals.com/BGI50 and use the code BGI50 to get 50% off your first month and 20% off your next month. Again, folks, that's code BGI50 at factormeals.com/BGI50 to get 50% off your first month plus 20% off the next. All right. Let's no doxing. All right, we're going over to 317, man. What's your name? 317, you're on the line.
Yo.
What's up?
Hey, what's going on, man? I just want to thank you for your content. I look daily for something coming from you guys, and it feeds my Notre Dame, addiction there. So I appreciate you all. I'm a little sad that Mr. Hyde's not on. I had a bone to pick with him, all that caping he does for Riley Leonard. So he dodged one today. But I did have a question for you.
Hold on. What's your name?
My name's Mike Miller.
Mike Miller. What's going on, man? Great name, by the way. Very popular.
Yeah. I know that Leonard's doing the best for what he can. We knew what he was coming in. My gripe really with Mr. Hyde is he says that we knew what it was, but when it's not what we needed, I don't see the problem with fans complaining or wanting to see something different. I don't know if the answer is in jelly, but my question to you is the answer on the roster for the future? Because Riley Leonard's gone after this season. And to get that next step, we need that quarterback. And so you're all into, looking at these guys, recruiting and all that. Is the future on the roster to get us to that title? That's what I want to know, because I think Marcus Freeman is bringing the talent in. Can he develop it? Can he win the small games? I don't know, but he's doing good things.
The answer to your question is it better be. It better be. I really believe that the future of Marcus Freeman, again, past this season, the future of Marcus Freeman is what the quarterback position looks like moving forward. Because some people count Steve Angeli as a Brian Kelly recruit. I get it. He committed when Brian Kelly was head coach, but Freeman signed him. But if okay, I don't believe Notre Dame's going to go to the portal for another quarterback. I could see a situation, or if they go with Carr, like Angeli and or Minchie leave, then you bring in, I've said this several times, like you bring in like a Harvard transfer or someone from Yale, some lower level guy to come and be that experienced guy in the room to add another arm who's not a true freshman, right? I could see that, but otherwise, you're not bringing in 3 years in a row as head coach a transfer quarterback to start, right? Hartman to Leonard. I've been told they're not planning on doing that. I can't say I've asked around to see if that's still the plan for a couple months, but I'm told that is not their plan. Their plan is to go with someone on the roster, and your options would be Angeli, Minchie, Carr, whoever the 2025 quarterback is. 2025 quarterback is unlikely. To me, I don't think it's going to be Minchie. I think it's Angeli or Carr, and I think the leader in the clubhouse right now, if there were odds, you're minus 200, you're plus 150, whatever, I think your favorite would be Carr. Not by a ton. It might be like a minus 120 or something. And then Angeli might be like a plus 120. Something like that. To me, it's Carr. Now, how next season, is next season like, hey, we made the playoff in 2024, and maybe we even snuck in a win in the playoff. Now you buy yourself extra grace to go to a youth movement in 2025. See, these are kind of all the things that go in my head when you talk about the future of the quarterback position at Notre Dame, Mike. There's a huge variable for 2024 that impacts next year. And it is, one, how much grace do you have towards going to a youth movement? Like, hey, we might only win 8-9 games next year because we're playing so many young guys. We're going with a sophomore quarterback. Look how young we are everywhere. But it's going to pay off soon, something that Mike Goolsby's wanted for a while. But can you do that if you don't have a great year in 2024? Now, the other variable, Mike, and I'll go back to you, is if Leonard, knock on wood, does go down at any point this season, and Steve comes in and he just kills it, and he forces Notre Dame to play him next year, then that's that. Or he could go out there, stink it up, and then that just solves that. He is not going to be the guy next year. So that is my take on the quarterback situation.
Goolsby likes Minchie, if I remember.
Goolsby does like Minchie. Minchie's an X factor. Minchie, if he hits, he's got enormous potential. He probably has the highest potential of the quarterbacks on the roster right now with his ability.
Yeah, I just if it wasn't for those sacks, I think Angeli did great in Purdue when he got his opportunity. He did good in the bowl game, right?
Yeah.
I think it's weird because I just wish that he would get the grace to be able to go out there and make those mistakes and develop just like anyone else. I mean, the rope with, obviously you paid him and he's got to really stink it up to take Leonard out. But Angeli probably, if he would have got these kind of reps instead of Leonard, so that portal may have hurt Freeman in the end doing this development deal. But I think Angeli could have been better than what glimpses we've seen, the ceiling we've seen with him. And the offense would have been traditional without him running, but it would have been better.
Yeah.
In my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let the running backs run, let him throw. I don't know. The line kind of our strength for a decade plus. It seems like it's really killing us. I've never seen Notre Dame line look this bad for a long time, so it's really bad. But anyway, I appreciate your content, man. I look for it every day.
Mike, I appreciate you, brother. You have a good night, okay?
Thanks.
The thing about Angeli is, you guys know I love him. I don't know how well this offense suits him. There's like if Notre Dame just had this super strong O-line, solid receiver, like great receivers, Angeli might be the better option for this team to be like a run, pass. But with this current offense, I don't think that they can get away with that, because these teams are just going to come after the quarterback. Notre Dame's O-line is not what it's been in years past, so they're just going to come after you. And I don't think that suits Steve's strengths. Jeremy, what's going on, brother? Good to see you. K-Max says good call. Completely agree. We're going to everyone just bring your energy down a little bit. It's time for Eeyore. It's time for Eeyore, Mark with glasses. What's going on, my friend?
Hey, what's going on? I got some complaints,
I know you do, Mark. I'm not surprised.
and I realize it's hard to be critical of the offense because of the injuries. And I just watched the All-22 that Gouldsby did. I got somewhat sympathetic to Riley Leonard, but it kind of feels like when my wife makes dinner and it sucks, it's not any good, and then later I find out like she barely had enough time to kind of make anything, and everything in the fridge is kind of somewhat questionable. That's kind of how I equate it to my opinion of Riley Leonard right now. But obviously he still needs to be better. And now we've got these watered down expectations now, and it's like, I know you can't pass if you can't protect, but I think two things can be true at the same time. And the offense stinks. I expect a drop off a little bit because of the offensive line, but they're embarrassing. They're like 75th in total offense, near dead last in passing. And my biggest complaint is with Denbrock is he's got to find a way to get the ball into the playmaker's hands. And these 10, 11 touches to our most exciting player, it's just inexcusable. And it's week in and week out, we're seeing the same thing. I thought we'd see more motion, misdirection. I can tell they're trying to figure it out, because now the latest is rolling Leonard out constantly for the new way to dink and dunk now. And there's no creativity at all. And then the biggest possession of the game, we get two quarterback runs up the middle and a slow developing rollout that looked like a broken play that was a sack. We go 3 and out, 3 plays, -1 yard. And to me, that just showcased how limited they think this offense is, and they don't have confidence in anything. They had 2 good drives. I think that whole game they had scoring drives of like 4 yards, 6 yards, and 50 yards. And everybody's going crazy about the improvement. And it's like, it's gotten so bad that these little baby steps are, being over measured.
Mark, do you yell at people who stand up in front of you at games?
Well, I always sit in the top row, so.
Oh, okay. You sit up there with John?
Yeah. No, I sat with him in the spring game in the top row, but
How was
I
that?
always get my tickets separately, top row. Yeah, it was interesting. Yeah,
Mark.
We were booing.
You don't know what you were booing, but you were booing, or why you were booing. Mark, let me ask you this. A little free promo for Gouldsby. What did you learn? Because for you to kind of come off the ledge a little bit on Leonard, I'm curious, what you learned from watching, Gouldsby and Jared Clark break down the All-22. What made you feel a little bit, not better about him, but feel for him?
I think it kind of gave me a little perspective, like the timing's off, and they were saying he just seems a little rushed all the time, and I think he's anticipating not having time, even when he has enough time. I think he's so used to not having time or something, and it just looks like he's constantly rushing everything. And so we're kind of in this weird spot where it's like, if you complain or you're overcritical, they pull out, we have the O-line issues, and it's like you feel like you're unable to be critical of the quarterback play. And that's where I kind of expect more out of Denbrock, to be creative and come up with some things and get the ball out of his hand quickly, besides running Leonard to death.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you're watching a game, in the course of the game, it's hard not to sit there and just completely blame Leonard. And, you know, I'm constantly guilty of that. And then when you kind of think about it more, I kind of came to my senses.
You coming to your senses, huh?
And then I also have a question for Tim Hyde. Tim, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. SEC speed. Blue chip ratio.
Yeah,
Knock the living hell out of you. Mark, I have a question for you.
I
have a question for you. You said something earlier, expectations been filtered. Is that something like you said like that, like, or watered down, I should say?
Yeah, it feels like that's the general consensus from the fan base.
Because that's where I'm at.
I think
I'm kind of at too.
Since the loss was to NIU, it's I don't know. It makes it more hard to come to grips with.
Yeah,
but I feel like there's an opportunity with the remaining schedule to kind of, you know, like, here's an idea. Like, what if we overachieve the rest of the schedule, you know, and kind of show, I think that would go a long ways and kind of show us a lot.
Yeah.
But, I mean, as it is, based on the 2.5 years we've seen with Freeman, I mean, we all have to expect another loss, don't we?
I guess. I mean, what was your record prediction? What do you think Notre Dame was going to go before the season started?
I was on 11-1, 12-0. I guess.
So you were expectations sky high. We're going the distance, and now you're completely 180.
Yeah, I listened to the Blue and Gold preview show, and they were real high on like the wide receivers, a lot of position groups. I think I got a little caught up.
Oh, that damn Blue and Gold preview show. That Mike Singer and his wide receivers. That guy's a sucker.
No, but I think the season can still be saved, and you know, I'm not completely off the ledge thinking about the future.
Mark, thank you for everything you do and providing laughs, and I'll always be in there for the Sweaty Mike streams.
Yep, shout out my boy Jay Carr. Later.
All right, we are going next to 847, and then we have an open queue. So we're going to 847 next, and then again an open queue. And we're probably going to go about an hour to an hour 15, depending on the amount of calls we get and whatnot. I do want to say real quick for the YouTube audience, I may have clickbaited with the thumbnail, putting Angeli and Leonard next to each other. I mean, it's just so easy. So I apologize, and I admit what I was doing. That's what I was doing, 100%. Folks, whether you are, you know, a fan of sports, which obviously all of you guys are, or it's comedy, you know, music, theater, whatever the case may be, you like being in the arena, in the stadium, in that venue. It's better than watching on the TV. There's nothing like being there live in the room, which is where we're going to talk about the sponsor for this show, Gametime.co. It's not .com. Don't get it twisted. Gametime.co is a fast and easy way to buy tickets for sports. You got music, comedy, theater near you with killer last-minute ticket deals, so you could just get relaxed and hyped for that fun that you're going to have at the event. The website, super easy to manage. Gametime has all sorts of cool features. You got Gametime Picks. That makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams or artists, again, whatever the case may be, It makes it even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. You got the all-in pricing. Toggling this feature shows the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. You can check out seat views to get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. You'll also, folks, get the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and make sure you use the promo code ON3. That's on 3 for $20 off your first purchase. So now you got an easy way to get tickets, and you're getting it at a discount of $20 off your first purchase with Game Time. Terms apply. Terms apply, folks. Create an account, redeem the code ON3 for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. All right. Let's go over to 847. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, James from Illinois.
James, what's going on, man? What's on your mind?
I think that, I watch these games, and I think to the Bubakar Traore's, I think to the Benjamin Morrison's way back in 2022, his first season, Leonard Morgan in there now, kind of seeing Aeneas Williams start to grow a little bit more, right? And I know we haven't really seen the wide receivers yet, or the quarterback for a myriad of reasons, right? But I can't remember the last time I saw a team, especially under Brian Kelly, where we had this many dogs come in as freshmen that could come in and make some type of impact. I get the play isn't clean. I get the play isn't perfect. But aside from Michael Mayer and Kyle Hamilton, who else was coming in as a freshman? Who else would DK play? Maybe Julian Love. I think the biggest reason the fan base is disappointed or gets upset with Marcus Freeman is I think the fan base really likes him and wants him to succeed. And when we lose games like NIU, it's like, does he know what he's doing? Because we just want him to win, because he embodies everything about Notre Dame football, everything that's great about Notre Dame football, right? And it's kind of this whole anti-Brian Kelly vibe where it's like Brian Kelly was like, I know what I'm doing. A lot of times he did. He wouldn't have lost on IU. He beat down Bowling Green. He beat down Miami, Ohio the first time, right? But I just, the dogs he brings on here gives me the Dabo, Jim Harbaugh, Kirby Smart approach. Like, let's just give him time, especially since this is his first coaching gig here. I get people are frustrated with the offense. I get people are frustrated with Mike Denbrock's play calling. I don't know of any offense coordinator that calls a perfect season every single time. There's still a lot left of football to play. People are freaking out about the playoff. Let's just get through Troy Taylor and Stanford after we get healthy, right? And, everyone needs to just take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I'm on the younger side here and I haven't seen
How young, James?
a national championship, right?
How old are you, James?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
How old are you, James?
32.
32. Okay. I'm 31. Nice age, brother.
Yeah, it is. The transparency, the openness, the coordinators coming out to speak more, right? It's very not anti-Saban, very different from Nick Saban, very different from Brian Kelly, right? I like the approach. It's just a different sport now. The boomers just got to get used to that. It's a different game now. And I think Marcus is playing the long game here, and I think we need to be patient. Am I saying, does he deserve the extension? No, I'm not saying that at all, right? Like, he can't be losing NIU games going forward. He really can't, right? But I really think that the frustration is more because people like him so much. They want him to do well here. And I think that there's still a lot of moving pieces that he's trying to figure out. And let's just look at Jeff Brom, right? That dude has coached before, and he made a very stupid penalty with a delay of game on 4th and 1 that basically cost him the game. Like, you're going to tell me that these guys that have all these years of experience aren't immune to these mistakes? I remember, I think it was Kirby Smart snuffed out a fake punt. I think it might have been against Ohio State in the playoff, right? Like, he called a timeout and stopped it. Like that takes years to kind of master, right? And it's all about catching people at the right time. But I think that Marcus Freeman recruits dogs. And something else to point out here too. Are we ever going to see a 2016 start? And I don't mean start as like the Texas game. I mean Max Redfield and all those guys getting pulled over in the car, and the one guy getting in the fight at the backer, and like I don't get a sense of that happening from this team, right? Jalen Sneed leaving the field early aside, or whatever that issue or rumor was, where he just left the field before the alma mater was sung, right? Like I don't see issues like that with this team. I just don't. And so I think people just need to take a chill pill. We got the bye week here. Let's get healthy. Let's get the offense right. I agree there. We got to get some things right. But for the most part, I think that I know we're talking about the year 3 jump here, but if the jump doesn't come until year 5, but we're a 12-0, monster, right? Maybe year 3 was worth it. Maybe I'm just too optimistic, Mike. Maybe I'm just too optimistic.
James, I like the optimism, brother. Appreciate the call. You have a good night, okay?
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, couple things. Great call from James. The offensive coordinator thing, and then we got my boy Nick on the line next. Thing about the offensive coordinator thing is, he said, "Oh, I know people aren't very happy with Mike Denbrock's play calling." I'm like, guys, Denbrock was supposed to be the savior. Everyone in the fan base was so excited. Mike Denbrock, he can do no wrong. Put out some water. He's gonna walk right on it. The man, like I'm joking, but like seriously, that was kind of the fact of the matter about offensive coordinators. And I don't care if it's Tommy Rees or Jared Parker or Mike Denbrock, they're going to get blamed. I don't care what is happening. You score 66 points. There's a defensive touchdown or two right in that game. Whatever. Blame. It's just a very common thing. Quarterbacks and OCs blamed a ton. They just do. Now, Tim mentioned now in year 4 he wants to play a rookie QB. I know Buckner wasn't necessarily a rookie QB, but I mean, right? Ohio State was his first start, right? He didn't start any games in 2021. Not that I can remember. He played, but so Freeman wanted to play a rookie-ish QB in would that have been year 1, 2022? Yeah. So you literally year 1, he tried. And then he played in 10 games. Yeah. I mean, 0 starts. Angeli's played in a lot of games, started 1, how experienced really is Steve. Yeah. But yeah, played in 10 games, 0 starts. 0 starts. How many of those games were garbage time? That's my point. He was like a wildcat QB. Virginia Tech played a ton, but otherwise, Freeman did try to go with it, just didn't work. And then yes, I think they needed to bring in Sam Hartman for 2023. Buckner was not the guy. Pine was not the guy. And then 2024. That's where you can bring in a ton. Tim, I missed you, brother. Tim, I missed you. Good Lord, Mike. Jelly plays in scrub time. Buckner played in first half. So in every game, see, Tim, you say things like that. You say things like that every single game. I'm sure I could look that up and prove you wrong, Tim. But anyways. All right, we'll go to Nick. What's going on, Nick?
Well, I got a question for you.
What's up, brother?
Do you think that people understand how bad our offensive line is playing this year? Like, do you think that they really understand how bad the offensive line is?
Do you?
Like, do you think that goes into an equation, into the assessment of our team this year?
I mean, apparently Anthony Knapp had his best game against pass blocking against Louisville, but yes, that is certainly an issue.
Because I just look at the if you just start at the O line, I mean, our offense is limited there. But I think that has a lot to do with our offensive struggles. No matter who would be the quarterback, and it kind of leads me. I've seen a lot of people talk about the interest in going to the caller that called right before me, talking about how Marcus Freeman was doing a good job recruiting. Interestingly enough, I've seen a lot of comments throughout various channels talking about how this year is just going to end up being a colossal waste of talent because like our defense is super talented, and you can even point on offense and say like, well, Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love and Mitch Evans, right? Those are like the three best offensive players. And you can kind of say, oh, we're just kind of wasting these guys away with overall bad offense.
Nick, who'd you say the three were again? Who'd you say the three best offensive players were?
Mitchell Evans, Jeremiah Love, and Jadarian Price. I mean, I would include Riley Leonard de facto because he does the bulk of the work on offense, but he's not coming back. And like he wasn't a part of like homegrown recruitment.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But it's funny because these are the same people who are saying that we should fire Marcus Freeman, but they're inferring too that it's like, oh, like we're wasting a lot of talent because we have a bad quarterback, but I think like that's what Marcus Freeman was brought here to do, right? Like why he was hired, right? The players liked him. He gets recruits, and the last guy, Brian Kelly, he was like the polar opposite, right? Polar opposite.
Oh, yeah.
Good coach at just winning games in general, punching down, like me and my brother would say, like he was really good at punching down. If he was actually the better team, he won those games, generally speaking. And then if he had to punch up, he couldn't do it. Somebody said something about who was the Texas A&M coach before last year before they hired Elko. What was his name?
Jimbo?
Yeah, Jimbo. Somebody had they say he was a little bit of a giant slayer. Like that wasn't Brian Kelly. It's actually a little bit of Marcus Freeman. He has a little bit of like shows up for the big games, performs well. Interesting to think about here for a second. What's our worst loss in 3 years? Probably Louisville. I mean, like, because that was like, what, 13, 14 points?
They lost to NIU and Marshall.
No. I'm talking about most points in a single loss. Because, like, we can look back and say, holy cow, we got blown out under Brian Kelly. Like, we got, people have also – people watched our Louisville game, and then they watched Alabama play Georgia, and they said, oh, Notre Dame will lose by 40. Well, we've played two really good Ohio State teams and one pretty good Clemson team and two really good USC teams in the last 3 years. And, our biggest loss, I think, was to Louisville, right? Like 13 points. It was like 31 to.
Yeah, the USC game in 2022 was 38-27. And then the Louisville game was 33-20. But, okay, so you're kind of on. I'm just saying, like, you're on point margin.
Right. I'm on point margin. Like, we haven't been complete. Notre Dame fans, whenever they lose, feel completely embarrassed. I'm saying, but nothing compared to the Brian Kelly era of we walk in and we lose by 30 to
that Michigan game in 19.
Or, yeah, who you name them. There's a couple where we just, like, Zero chance.
Okay.
You just get laughed out of the stadium, kind of feel.
Okay.
So I understand.
Yeah.
He,
all right, but what would you rather have though? Losing to Michigan by 31 or losing to NIU by 2 at home?
I think the answer is extremely simple, because if you ask one more follow-up question, you say, what problem's easier to fix? You say losing to NIU and Marshall is so much easier to fix.
But why hasn't it been fixed?
Because, if Marcus Freeman's a young coach, I think that's what it really boils down to.
Yeah,
I think Marcus Freeman. I'm just like these things. I do understand a lot of people's hesitation. Like now, after we've seen Marcus Freeman go through some lumps, now it's like, yeah, I get why people wanted to have a seasoned head coach get hired and not a first-time head coach. Like, I get that. Now that I've lived through that as an adult, I was young when Charlie Wise was the head coach, and he had problems, and now that I've seen it, like, oh yeah, I get it. But another just kind of ironic, statement is that fans want players to be played, to be developed, right? Like everybody, like a lot of people would love to see Kenny Minchie or Jay Carr be the quarterback. Like there's a solid section of the fan base who would love to see that, to develop them so that we have a more prosperous future. And yet we have a head coach who's doing a lot of really good things for us, moving the program in the right direction, getting more talent, competing with better teams. And yet that same group that wants to move on to the next QB to develop for the future, they want to axe the head coach and not let him develop into what could, he has potential to be made of the right stuff to get the program to where people want it to go.
Going back to the whole loss discussion, Nick, I had this thought. I've never really thought about it like this. Answering the question of what's worse, the Michigan 19 or like the NIU 2024. You can make the argument, though, that the NIU loss, that's just a fluke. Right? Oh, man. Like, we know Notre Dame's better than NIU. So, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm going to get roasted for that thought. But it's like, oh, NIU is kind of a fluke. But, like, you go and you lose, like, blown out against another playoff contender type team. It's like, well, we know Notre Dame doesn't belong here. They just played one of those teams that they could play in the playoffs and just got their asses kicked. Now, I mean, that the NIU and the Stanford and the Marshall for me is just totally inexcusable. But there is that. I think there's like something there. Notre Dame still.
Can we go back to 2012 for a second? I was.
Hold on. Sean says flukes can't happen here. I get it, but they still can in this area. That's why if Notre Dame wins out, they're going to make the playoff. Go ahead, Nick.
So if you go back to 2012, I just graduated high school. Okay. So I'm like, like 19, 20, right? And I was all in on this like excitement of that season. It was great. Awesome. Amazing. But then when you go and you get blown out in the national championship game, you just realize like, whoa, we are not supposed to be in that game. Like, I understand we won all of our games, and by de facto, if you win all your games, you're going to get into it, kind of thing. But we weren't in the same league. And then you fast forward, you start fast forwarding, and then you get into the play. We've been in the playoffs twice, and blown out both times, pretty much. Like you start to say to yourself, like under Brian Kelly era, of like, we just don't have enough top end talent to play with those teams. And I still think one of the most amazing performances that has happened under Marcus Freeman was actually only losing to Ohio State at the Shoe opening day of like whatever season, at 2022. You know, that's actually kind of amazing. I mean, that team should have won a national championship. You know, that's, to me, you lose by 11 to the second best team in the country, and you had, you know, you didn't have the horses, you know. So, like I said, you know, it's, hey, I think a lot of people got themselves hyped up over this year 3 thing, you know, which like is voodoo, you know, like it's so weird that like, oh, year 3, it's got to happen or you might as well just cut them loose. Like, let's, I don't know, get over it. Like, that's not how this works, you know. But yeah, he's not going to win a national championship in year 3, you know. Like, it's not there. But it doesn't mean that he still can't be the guy. So I don't know. That's my thoughts.
Hold on, Nick. First of all, for folks saying the NIU game's not a fluke, I'm not saying that it wasn't. I'm just saying that can kind of be like the narrative. All right, we're bringing in Mark with glasses. I think Mark and Nick, you guys will be able to hear each other. We're gonna have a Mark with glasses versus ZB Snickers battle royale here. Mark, you said you wanted to. I might regret this, so I might just mute you guys in a minute. But you said you were going to call in to push back on the call.
Yeah, just a little pushback. I was just going to offer some perspective on what he's saying. And I don't disagree, but, you know, at a certain point, the highs need to far outweigh the lows. And you know, Freeman's lost 2 of his 3 home openers. He's had 2 stretches of 6 games where with 3 wins, 3 losses, you know, Marshall, NIU, Stanford, you know, the Clemson loss was, I at the time, I thought the worst loss because he had all those other losses out of his system until NIU most recently. But, like, you know, like, we all just want a reason to be optimistic and buy in. And we've got fans still celebrating, you know, the Texas A&M win and all these top 10, top 25 wins. That's an every year occurrence. And it's so foreign to us that we've got all these fans that are still happy with this. And it's like, we need to raise our expectations a little bit. And I guess that's my pushback, that, you know, we're celebrating not getting blown out, which I agree, it's progress based on what was happening during Kelly. But just because these wins are kind of spread out differently, they're still there.
So, Mark, one thing that my reasoning on like this trajectory that we are going with Freeman, the reason why I do have optimism is because I look at our sophomores and freshmen specifically and I say these players are so different than what we
These
have
guys are
been
just
getting
doing my
in the
job
past.
for me, and it's amazing.
And I look, well, Freeman's been here for 4 years total, right? Because he was a defensive coordinator for 1 year. And so it's like, why are just now the sophomores and the freshmen, why are they so much more talented than what Marcus Freeman had even beginning the couple prior years? And I look to this, and I just tend to think that I wonder how much goes on behind the scenes that we never know, never hear about, that he has to work to change the culture of the administration in order to get the players that he wants to get and get more talent in the door. Because I do remember listening to John's show when Marcus Freeman was up for hire, I think. And he talked about him being the defensive coordinator and about how he was kind of raising eyebrows about, trying to get certain players and push the limits on who Notre Dame could accept, kind of thing. I do remember that being talked about, and like the administration messed up hiring the OC from Utah. So I don't think that's on Freeman. Like I don't know all the details there, but I'm pretty sure that was on the administration. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I think some of this too is just trying to get over some of the hurdles that may have existed within Notre Dame behind closed doors.
Yeah,
Mark, and so I guess I'm just happy that there's progress being made on the field too.
I don't disagree with you, but I think like with Notre Dame fan base specifically, it's like when in doubt, blame the administration. And we've got the highest paid offensive coordinator now. Al Golden's damn near the highest paid. So like you can't say they're not serious, not trying to win anymore. They're playing the NIL game, and like there's a certain segment of the fan base that wants to celebrate the standards and that we're holier than thou, but then bitch that we're shopping down a different aisle, and you can't have it both ways. And I feel like they're managing it just fine. Like you said, like based off the recruiting, based on the roster right now, there's just like a disconnect.
Yeah, I will say one thing just to show that Notre Dame is not like every other big time football school. You just said we brought over the arguably the number one offensive coordinator right now, and he's getting paid the most. Did he bring a single player with him to Notre Dame?
No, and like to your point, you're optimistic about next year, and I would say, well, next year you're going to have the same problem he's had in his first 3 years with quarterback uncertainty. So that's why I'm hesitant to buy all the way in. We're going to be in the same boat next year.
Mark and Nick, thank you guys for calling in. That was awesome. All right. Yeah, I mean, who needs the VP debate when you have the debate right here, the epic one between Mark with glasses and ZB Snickers. Now, that was the only time I will do what I just did, because I know those guys both personally, so I can trust them to go at it. But that was fun. So Tim Hyde says, Mike, can we please do these calls? This would be fun. Tim, I don't know if you can handle it, man. You're just popping off on the chat. Can you handle going back and forth with our loyal viewers? I don't know, Tim. I don't know. I'm kidding. We'll have to figure it out. We'll have to figure it out. Folks, please hit the thumbs up on this video. Of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content. I'd very much appreciate you guys. Go ahead and smash the thumbs up on this video. Thank you to our sponsors, Factor and Gametime. And yeah, that's going to end it. We will be live next. Tyler and Jack might have a show tomorrow night. I'm not sure if they're taking off with the bye week. My guess would be they're not going to have a show tomorrow night. We'll have a recruiting show 10:30. The 10:30 a.m. Eastern show for recruiting might be a recruiting call-in show because Kyle, I think, can't. Tim, what are you texting me? Tim just texted me his Tim just texted me the dishes he just did. That is great. Listen, 10:30 a.m. Eastern, I am going to be live by myself. Kyle has to travel. So a recruiting specific show. I might change my mind on that. I might come to my senses and realize that people will call in and not talk recruiting. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But that is the plan for right now. And then no post-game show Saturday night. Probably not Goolsby show Sunday night. I might ask for a Sunday night off. But that's it. folks, go to blueandgold.com for more Notre Dame football coverage. And make sure you go to my Twitter account at Mike T. Singer, and you have this link to sign up for the newsletter at Blue and Gold. Daily email Monday through Friday, and then you have breaking news alerts. So Notre Dame gets a commitment from Antavius Richardson. You get an email alert about it right afterward. So again, the link is in my my pinned tweet. Wow, that's a good one, Jay Carr. What does the T stand for? Trinity League. There you go. All right, folks, that's going to do it for this week's show. Appreciate you all. And as always, we will catch you next time.